And next, we have a wonderful guest, and we're so glad that we got to speak at least for like 10 seconds before this. His name is Martin, and Martin is founder of Gnosis, co-founder of Gnosis DAO and founder of Circles, and has been working in tech for almost 15 years, probably more. I think he has great choice in colors. Evan is definitely one of my favorite colors. And please come forward to share with us.
Video?
Yeah.
Let's start. So quickly, who has heard of Circles before? All right, perfect, cool. Yeah, I will super quickly go over, again, what it is. So yeah, it's, I think, experiments like bread I really like, but we want to do kind of in a way, I would say, a more radical thing, kind of to say money that's completely independent of current forms of money, of fiat currencies, the US dollar. And we kind of try to design, how would we design money if we could introduce it from scratch. And of course, the intro, and I think many of you have heard it, that money is ultimately you can call it technology or maybe a social contract, but ultimately it's certainly human-made, and we have choices, and we can absolutely change those choices. And it's an extremely important piece. Kind of, it's probably the mostly spread out piece of technology. Everyone in the world, almost everyone in the world, understands money, or kind of it's in a way more universally accepted than any language or anything. Kind of, almost everywhere in the world, people react in some form to money, and it influences their behavior heavily. So it is absolutely worth kind of looking into how is money constructed and how do those choices affect our lives. So yeah, money is not neutral. Money is a set of active choices, and we tried to rethink them in Circles. And the core idea of Circles is to distribute the benefits of the power of money creation equally to everyone who is participating or who is choosing to use this form of money. So very simply, the three rules that kind of already define Circles is money is issued at a rate of 1 unit per hour per person. That's number one. Second rule, and we'll go into that more, there is demurrage. So that means all money constantly, while all the time new money is created, money constantly loses or disappears. And we will see what effect that brings. And the third one is selective trust. Everyone can choose whose money they accept. And we will also look into that in more detail. This is kind of just a graph that results from those rules. So kind of in the beginning, this is the issuance of one person over its lifetime, money issuance. So kind of in the beginning, the issuance is always 1 unit per hour. But over time, the 7% kicks in. So kind of money that was issued always is constantly removed. So there is this magic number of 120,000 circles per person that the system will converge to. And one way to look at that is to say Circles has a built-in redistribution mechanism. So kind of, if you hold exactly 120,000 circles, then the amount of circles you can generate each day is exactly the kind of tax or demurrage you are paying. So everyone who holds less than that is constantly getting more circles than they hold. Everyone who holds more than that is their balance is constantly reduced. So it pushes essentially all balances over time towards this 120,000 per person. And I would say that's one of the things in big contrast to our current financial system, where there are complicated, I mean, not so easy to, but there are certainly elements in our current money system, where if you have a lot of money, it's easier to get more money, and in Circles, it's kind of this, has this built-in redistribution mechanism at the very core. So quickly, the core concept here is that Circles has no gatekeepers. There's no entity, no company, no who can decide who can join. Instead, all you need is one person from the network to invite you. It's currently already 100,000 people registered on the network. Every one of them has the right to add new members to the network. To make this work, Circles relies on something that heavily favors resilience over to some extent efficiency. And in Circles, everyone has essentially their own personal currency. And that is then made work through Web of Trust connections. A little bit too short for a 10-minute lightning talk, but roughly speak, if there's a trust connection, essentially A and C can transact here over B. I can also just briefly touch a few concepts. So at its core, Circles relies on this Web of Trust of people accepting each other currencies. But there is an important addition, and kind of we have started Circles a little bit more than 4 years ago, and just a couple of weeks ago had kind of version 2.0, where we added groups as a very important piece. And also, just very briefly, it is basically a way for a bunch of people to say, okay, let's throw our currencies, our personal currencies together and have one unified group currency. Yeah, I mean, hinted at that already. I do think there is a trade-off space between resilience on the one hand, and Circles has very much leaned into the resilience and efficiency. It's more efficient to have just one currency for the whole world, but it's way less resilient. And kind of groups allow you to pick pick different different places in this resilient efficiency trade-off. I'll skip the groups. Yeah, just mentioning you can stack groups, so you can have groups of groups. So again, you can choose your preferred place in this resilience efficiency trade-off. Last two things. So for a long time in the blockchain world, I think also for Commons, we have said that having no fees is a good thing. But I have become more and more skeptical of that, because usually if you have some product that doesn't charge any fee, then usually it comes from some entity still kind of funding it. And I mean, the typical, what we saw in the Web 2 world was, you offer a product for a long time for free through venture funding, and then eventually, if you capture the whole market, then you can introduce fees. So I would say having early on a fee and having early on fees that are going to different actors in the space is what helps create resilience. So in Circles we have that's not directly part of the core protocol, but at least on the application that the main application for Circles right now, this Metri wallet, we have built in three fees that try to kind of already fund different actors that are needed for Circles to succeed. So when you create your 1 circle per hour or 24 per day, by default you are paying, out of the 24 on a day, you are paying 2 to a group that you can choose. And Bread Chain is one group of the Bread Cooperative is one group of the possible groups you can choose, and actually anyone can create a group. One part to the wallet and one part to the person that invited you. And yeah, kind of just to mention that. So in Circles 1 we had roughly 100,000 users. Well, I mean, or at least 100,000 people that signed up in a very short period of time, and kind of, I mean, basically just saying those fees can hopefully bring in significant funding for projects involved making circles work. Last one, also a bit complex here, but yeah, as said, in circles you have essentially all kind of different currencies. Just want to try to give you an intuition here. So essentially everyone in circles has their own currency, and there is a trade-off between they are all interconnected. So in circles there is a tendency that roughly circles will have one price, all the different circles, because of those kind of trust connections. Circles are made interchangeable. So there is high interconnectiveness, but at the same time there are boundaries. So it is possible to say, okay, I'm just the small group, or going back to the bread chain cooperative, we are those set of people. We have our boundaries, and within that we have our resources that people from without cannot necessarily access, but still through this web of trust, in a way, solidarity or kind of resources are shared. Let's just keep it at that level of intuition. And this is just a view of the current trust graph around the bread chain cooperative. There are more ways to create other groups. I'm skipping about that. So just last slide. If you want to try it out, this is the QR code to the Metri wallet, the wallet that's currently using Circles. You will need one person who is already on Circles to invite you, which you will easily find in this room. And that's it. Thank you.
We have time for one question, so not everybody all at once.
Did we find Renee, by the way?
Yeah,
Are you
it's
coming
here.
in? Okay. So who has the best question?
Going once. Oh wow, you were so expensive.
That's not always a good sign.
There's one.
Can you give just like a really rough, quick, like real world use case example of like something very real and tangible?
In principle, everything where you can use money is supposed to be. But yeah, we had a couple of experiments here in Berlin going. So in Berlin we had 15, 20 places that tried to use Circles as a currency in Markthalle. Are you from Berlin? Okay, well then. We had those farmer markets or some places where people paid each other with Circles.
Perfect. That was a good answer. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. The people that are selling it, they're the one. There's still